So, why does environmental sustainability matter? Well, think about all the things that you need to be able to live. Air, water, food, all of these things come from nature. So essentially, whatever we do to nature, we do to ourselves. Sustainability works to preserve these life-giving resources not only for us, but for future generations to come. But right now, we're facing a lot of obstacles to that goal, like deforestation, resource depletion,
habitat loss, pollution, soil erosion, ocean acidification, waste overload.
And on top of all of that, the IPCC estimates that we have 10 to 12 years before we alter the climate so drastically that we set off an irreversible chain reaction of ecological
breakdown.
Holy crap! How did we get here? We currently operate under an extractive linear economy that puts us at odds with nature. The good news is there are tons of ways that we can change that system to a more circular model and heal the planet. We can break up solutions into two categories, individual action and systemic action, and both are equally as important. So let's first look at some individual actions that you can start applying today. In general, follow the 4 R's: reduce, reuse, rot, recycle. Here in America, we live in a hyper-consumerist society, which means we buy and use a lot of stuff. If everyone around the world consumed at the same rate Americans do, we would need 3 to 5 Earths worth of resources. So we can simplify our lives by reducing. Shop less. Follow the mantra, if you don't need it, don't buy it. Use up less. Like turning the lights off when you leave a room, hanging your clothes to dry, or taking shorter shower times. And travel less. Instead of flying or driving, opt for public transport, carpooling, biking, or even walking. The average American throws away 4.5 pounds of trash per day. We can avoid a lot of that waste by simply reusing the things that we have and giving them a second life. When shopping, opt for secondhand or thrift instead of buying new. Repurpose things, like this old marinara sauce jar that now holds my snacks. Ditch single-use products. You can switch out disposable items, like these, for reusable items like these. It's estimated that there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish by 2050, so single-use plastic is a great one to tackle. Composting is super important. When organic material like food scraps or yard trimmings go into landfill, they can't decompose properly and they emit methane, a powerful greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. Composting diverts those scraps from landfill and instead helps it break down into fertile soil. Recycling is not perfect. Of all the plastic that's ever been made, only 9% has actually been recycled. So we should first opt for things that can be reused, repurposed, or composted. But if it doesn't fit into those categories, recycle it. Certain products and packaging are not recyclable, like soft plastic, chip bags, or greeting cards with multiple materials. Some better choices might be aluminum, glass, hard plastic, or paperboard. In addition to the 4 R's, eating a plant-based diet can make a big difference. Raising meat in our current agricultural system takes a ton of resources and is a big driver of deforestation, greenhouse gas emissions, and pollution. So reducing your meat intake can really lighten your carbon footprint. Also, where you get your food matters as well. Look for local and seasonal produce and support small business and local farmers as much as possible. Now let's talk about some systemic actions. Like I said before, the problems we face are systemic, so our solutions should be too. Get involved with your local community. There is so much we can do when we collaborate and organize, like community gardens, clothing swaps, right to repair groups, and more. Make your voice heard. Just 100 companies are producing 70% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. These companies, and all those in power, need to be held accountable for their actions. So make it clear that you want eco-minded practices, products, and policies. Get out and vote! And remember, local elections are just as important as national elections. Look for leaders and politicians that have a clear environmental policy and that put planet over profit. Some examples of initiatives or policies you could support are green roofs, regenerative agriculture, a carbon emissions dividend, the Green New Deal, expansion of public transportation, and so much more. And you don't have to wait for others to propose these things. You can get the ball rolling in your own community. To bring this full circle, I'd like to share my favorite line from Hamilton: legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. How we choose to live on this planet is the legacy we leave. And not just for our kids and our grandkids, but for all life on Earth. We only have one Earth, shot, so don't throw away your shot. Together, we can make this world a better and greener place.